despite the current AI push, like companies capture less than maybe 5% of the value of the most valuable data source, which is customer convos. And the problem is that you have actually two types of solution right now on the market. You have like basic note takers that can be crazy good at like taking super crisp notes, but they focus on short-term meeting and follow-ups as personal assistants. And there is no flavor, of collaboration, team, and really storing and getting like the muscle of this brain and memory of the company for deeper collaboration. And on the other side, you have super advanced platforms such as Gong, revenue intelligence platforms, but they created somehow closed ecosystem. And so they really try to replicate the CRM and bring everyone within the platform.
AI note takers are everywhere, but how do you know which one is right for your team? In this series, I'm going to be talking to the CEOs and co-founders of some of the top AI note-taking tools out there to learn about some of the more advanced features they offer. We're going to dive into things like their HubSpot integration, how easy they make it to customize the notes for different teams and use cases, how they handle data security and privacy, and other key features that really make them stand out. And why does that matter to Arrows? If you're syncing your meeting notes into HubSpot, Arrows can read that data and automatically suggest the right updates to your sales rooms. So you can update things like next steps, milestones, value props, and Arrows will even suggest new content that should be added to your sales room based on what you discussed in your meeting. All right, let's get into it. Hey, Robin, thanks so much for joining today for the AI Note Taker series. Really excited to dive in. Your tool is one that's completely new to me, so I'm coming in kind of blind, and I'm really excited to have you show us around. I would love to start. I know it sounds like you have an interesting story here, but would love to start with kind of your background and how you got things started.
Yeah, hi Kim. Thanks for the invite, and pretty happy. If at one point you can give us your feedback. I know that you're an expert in note-taking tools, so definitely happy to get the feedback at one point. In terms of story, we had a pretty long story at Claap. But yeah, before I'm Robin, so I'm co-founder and CEO at Claap, and our founding team brings a deep expertise about collaboration at scale in bigger organizations. I used to be for 14 years VP product in different organizations and leading teams across different countries. One of my co-founders worked at L'Oreal, so definitely like a giant company. And our CTO, Thomas, spent 15 years at Amazon in Seattle. And so we decided to create Claap to fix the problem of collaboration in the beginning, but not exactly what we do today. And the current idea of Claap actually emerged from our own pivot journey, because in 2021, when we started the company, we started to build an asynchronous meeting solution. We wanted, in a way, to like create better Loom somehow. Loom was perfect because they invented the record button of the internet. It was super simple. One record button, you click, it works. But if you wanted to like engage in a discussion and make a decision, it was not like designed for that. And so it was not super seamless to do so. You had to follow up on an email thread or in a Slack and whatever. And so it gave you, cluttered and silos of communication. And what we wanted to do is really like to bring an asynchronous collaboration platform for remote teams that wanted to rely on asynchronous work, but not with the typical written heavy process. So bringing video format. This idea gained traction in 21, 22 with good user growth and engagement. But the revenue was lagging a bit behind. And I think that one of the problem was that at one point in 21, after the COVID situation, everyone was talking about this, problem of meetings. And later on, the category didn't really emerge. And we were faced with users willing to come back to meetings, but improve the meeting instead of replacing them. That's while trying to adapt our business and establish, a repeatable sales playbook and addressing these new needs from our target, we discovered that there was no effective way to extract actionable insight from our customer conversations. The problem that we faced is we were joining in meetings recordings, like early startup trying to find the PMF, but we couldn't access like these critical signals when they were needed. And Claap solved this very specific problem. Despite the current AI push, like companies capture less than maybe 5% of the value of the most valuable data source, which is customer convos. And the problem is that you have actually two types of solution right now on the market. You have like basic note takers that can be crazy good at like taking super crisp notes, but they focus on short-term meeting and follow-ups as personal assistants. And there is no flavor, of collaboration, team, and really storing and getting like the muscle of this brain and memory of the company for deeper collaboration. And on the other side, you have super advanced platforms such as Gong, revenue intelligence platforms, but they created somehow closed ecosystem. And so they really try to replicate the CRM and bring everyone within the platform. And it's not designed to power, third-party integrations. It starts to be now, but it's not so much yet open. And so this is what we want to do with Claap. We create an open and flexible data platform that structures conversation data and makes it truly actionable. And just to give you like one analogy, I guess you know about Clay.
Mhm.
Clay is perfect to enrich your leads with third-party data. And what we try to do, like the philosophy and the primitive feature behind Clap, is to do the same, but on the opposite way. So allowing you to instantly answer your business questions and create data sets of leads by mining all customer interactions in one click. And so this is a way to trigger integrations, to foster the knowledge within the company, but also to empower AI agents, because we believe that the future of AI agents not only rely on, like the power of LLMs, but also about the context and how do you bring them the best context they need to operate. As an analogy, you can hire someone from BCG, McKinsey, the best consulting, top tier consulting firms. But if you don't give them the context, they won't be able to operate. And this is our mission at Clap.
Amazing. That sounds really interesting. I'm excited to see it. It sounds like you have a demo ready for us
Yeah.
to show us around too. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So here is Clap Workspace. As you can see, we decided to build something that is designed for teams, collaboration, and that can scale with the organization. And so we decided to reproduce somehow the same architecture that you have in a wiki, such as Asana or Notion and so on. And so here, for instance, you see that in Clap, we organize the content between revenue, general, customers, products, so all the teams. And for all of them, we have our different channels to surface and access and categorize all the learnings and content. So I will come back to it later with the demo account. But then what I wanted to show first is this calendar. What you can see here is the list, really typical. All the note takers out there have this feature, but you need to start somewhere. And this gives you like a sense of the meeting that you have today and the ones that you have tomorrow. And from there, you can decide to record or not. And you can also set up some integrations and automations from here. What's interesting here is also you can, so if you want to record a meeting, you have two different options. The first one is to invite a bot. So that's the typical standard solution. You invite and you can automate this bot to the meeting. The second option is you can upload it directly. So you can add a link if I wanted to on the fly record an ad hoc meeting. You can also upload, and you can also use our Chrome extension or desktop app if you want to record a physical meeting, for instance, or if you want to record without inviting the bot in the meeting for any reason. So we try to have a versatile solution that makes it possible to record offline and online meetings, whatever the VisioConf platform and whatever your setup. The last step that is a bit specific to Clap and that comes from our own journey is that you can also record a video screen using desktop app and extension. And so it's a way not only to focus on the meeting within the platform, but you can also record like videos that you can send afterwards the meeting, for instance, as a follow-up. And so it pairs meeting and synchronous collaboration and asynchronous. Next is time to move, to the demo account. So in the demo account, you can see same kind of architecture. And what I will jump first and showcase first is the note itself and the recording itself. So in this example, I will pick this linear.clap follow up. And so what you can see here is you have the speakers mentioned, you have the recording that you can surface pretty quickly. And we offer a very standard, but hopefully, and your feedback will be helpful, but hopefully really crisp outline. So it comes with key takeaways, action items, small talks. Basically, you can see them as icebreakers, and we use them to feed the contact repository if you want like to re-engage with people later, and the chronological summary. We pay a lot of attention to super crisp notes that are actually efficient, so not too short and not too long to convey exactly what you need. For instance, as you can see, we put in bold the names, the companies, the dates, and so on and so on. What we also do is split the meeting. So let's say I want to play the video. As you can see, we split the meetings with chapters, automatic chapterization, and you can edit these chapters pretty easily. So if you open the chapter, you can basically see the different chapters here. So this is like standard out of the box, I would say. But what you can do is you can also extract your own insights based on your specific needs. So if you are in a sales team, you're gonna be willing to apply your MEDIC framework or a SPICE framework or whatever. If you are in a hiring team, you're gonna, for instance, put your job scorecard and interview scorecard. And so the way it works is here, for instance, you see that we use Spice Scorer, and we extract different insights. And for each insight, you can decide the type. So here it's paragraph. Here it's paragraph with bullet points, so rich text. Here it's a number, so we extract typically a number. Here it's gonna be a select. Everything that is written can be manually edited if you prefer. So here it's gonna pick Salesforce, but I could add, for instance, Atio and so on and so on. And you also have conferencing. Here in this case, it's a select. So the point is, it helps you extract any data type you want, but do it with the format you like. And you can surface all this content to export it. In this example, we export it to HubSpot. So you can see that here I manually changed the content so I can resync. And here the sync is all right. I will showcase later if you want how to create templates because it's just a bit more advanced, but we bring a gallery of standard templates, and you can also create your own specific templates. So this is about the insights. What we bring also is the possibility to have access to different features. So I will go quickly here because we offer a lot, but it can also be pretty hard to grasp in a single demo. So we have a transcript, a standard transcript that you can export if you also want to work on raw data in third-party solutions such as Data Lake and so on. We pay a lot of attention to commenting. So in this example, there is no comment, but you can add a comment that is going to be visible by everyone, including guests and external people if you invite them. But you can also send a team note if you want to send a note that is only visible to internal people from the company. And as you can see, you can add poll, you can add files, you can even record a video response, you can mention people, and you have rich text. So we pay a lot of attention to comments because we do believe that it's really perfect if you can move on discussion in the same platform. And of course, we don't want to have everyone just sticking with Clap and only with Clap. So if you work with Slack, for instance, you're going to be able to connect to Slack. And if you answer the thread in Slack, it's going to answer it here. So there is a sync. So you can continue the discussion within Slack, but there is a mirror synchronization between both.
Very cool.
Now that there is a specific feature for salespeople, which is coaching. So here you can see like metrics, so speaking time. You can also see some more advanced features, and you can see templates about what went well and what could be improved based on any scorecard you want. So this is a bit like a template, but this is really like a frame to cover the coaching areas from a sales perspective. What we also bring here is magic clips. So for instance, here, if you want to extract and create libraries of short snippets to share with the rest of the team, you'll be able to do it with AI. So let's say I want to extract objections. So I already extracted basically, but so I cannot extract objections, and it's gonna extract, as you can see, and then I can see transcript, and I can play, and I can share it as well. So it's really a good way, and you can automate it, of course, and it's really a good way if you want to have a look at all the objections across all your calls or all the competitor mentions and track really what's happening on the market right now. It's a way not only to extract insights, that are structured, but also to extract raw quotes can be super interesting for product and marketing to extract raw quotes. I think that we had a great tour here. Of course, this is, I know that you focus a lot on the CRM integration. So we have 4 native integrations: Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, and Atio. And here we automatically detect the opportunity. So for instance, in this case, this is linear. You can see the amount, and you can, so this is imported from linear, but what's nice is that you can also update. Let's say I want to update, and it was a bigger deal than expected, and it's gonna be reflected and sent within HubSpot. Whenever we work on an integration, we really try to have this working in the two directions, so that if you prefer to work in HubSpot and never to put your hand in Claap, it will work, because everything is automatically pulled from Claap to HubSpot, but the other way around is possible as well. In terms of data privacy, we pay a lot of attention, so I will come back to it later, like generally speaking. But on a recording perspective, what you can do is you can invite people, so you can share it with really precise options. You can share it with everyone in the workspace or to individual people. You can invite, here it's flagged as guest, and for each you can decide if it's full access, can comment, can view, and so on. What you can also do is create a public link if you want a broader invite, and then when you create a public link, you can decide if people can comment and people and viewers can download. Of course, meetings can be a bit hard when you are in an international landscape. In my previous experience, I managed 4 teams across 4 different countries, so sometimes language was a bit complex, and so you can translate all your meetings. So not only transcripts are available in 99 languages, but all insights and transcript can also be afterwards translated if you want, so that you can really watch, let's say, a Spanish call with English or French, like here, subtitles. The translation is really broad. The last part here is edit. This is a bit specific, again, coming back from what we did before, but can be super interested. You have large possibilities to edit your video. For instance, here I can trim the video. Of course, it's more interesting if you are recording like screen sharing, but it can also be super interesting when you record a meeting, because sometimes you want to cut some part of the meeting in order to be able to share it, whether there is sensitive data to share internally, or whether there is some part that you want to remove before sending them to the customer. And this is how you can do it. So you can either create with the timeline, so I can do it like this, and pretty standard, or you can do it from the transcript to keep or delete from video.
That's great. That seems pretty unique.
Yeah, and again, it's because it comes from our own journey, but it's pretty relevant. In fact, there are several use cases for that. The next part is to come back to the global workspace view. And here, as I said, you have different teams. So again, for each team and each channel, so this is a channel, basically, sales meetings. And you find, again, the same possibilities to manage super precisely your permissions and roles, either individually or for the whole workspace, or for groups of people if you have different teams. Here, what I wanted to show is that you can create views, and this is really the primitive feature I was mentioning about Claap. What we want to do is not only to have, because what I showed until today now, so the meeting note and recording is great, but it's pretty standard. What we want to do is really to help you create rich data sets that are super flexible, a bit like what you would do in Clay with your leads, so that you can enrich it in one click and send it away with integration in one click. And here you can see that I can have all my meetings, and if I want to focus on discovery, what I can see is I have my information, so I can edit the columns that I want to display. I have a lot of control on the table, aggregation, columns, ordering, filtering, and so on. So here it's linear, Figma, you have the stage, you have the close date, the amount, you have the labels, if you want to rely on labels for automations or categorization. But what I can also do, as you can see, is I can display and automatically extract my insights that I showcased before. It's super easy, because the problem that you have with some solutions is that you need on the fly, when the meeting happens, you can extract things. But if you want to afterwards, ask a new question and so on, it's going to be harder to create a data set in such a flexible way. And so this is what we do with Clap. Let's say I want to add here to ask a question about the competition and see what happened for the different meetings. I can click on Smart Column and I will look for competition, and I can generate my preview. It's gonna pick like with a multi-select. So it didn't find, and found one. And when I add the Smart Column, I can generate for, so I will do only for 3 rows in this example. But as you can see, so the competition column is filled. And I can do it with any question I might have, because here I have like standard insights that I can use, and we create a large library of insights, but you can also ask any question you want. And if I want to ask any question, so what did they think about X, or what are they interested in a mobile app to record physical meetings and so on, I can do it. I can decide the type of output. I can write the prompt that I want to extract this data. I can test it, and when it's tested, I can add it here.
Very cool.
So I will save the view here, and so it's going to be saved at the workspace level. So this is really the idea about how you make it super easy for the teams to create data sets, not only for your personal use case, but also to share it with others. Something else that can be interesting is, let's say I want to uh, see at a glance all my analytics from the coaching tab. Here, I can create a view, and in the columns, so again, you can trigger and display whatever you want. I can add all my stats. In another one, I could also add all my coaching advice to have all of them at a glance. And if I want to filter on one specific rep, let's say I want to focus on Pierre, I can do it, and it's gonna create like a view for Pierre. And as a manager, it's pretty easy because I can really have a look at all my teams pretty quickly. This view is also versatile because if you want to, we add auto tags, and when there is a sales call that has been won, for instance, you can have it automatically added in one or best calls, and you can decide not a table format for this ramp up and training, but for instance a grid view or list view. So this is pretty versatile again in terms of views. Two last thing I didn't show. There are more for sure, but I think that it's already enough. We had a pretty good tour. We have Claap AI. So Claap AI is chat based, but it's a way to really access all the data. And we worked for maybe 12 months on this. It's a RAG, but not only a RAG, it's also enriched with labelization of all and categorization of all of the sales calls. So you can ask typical question about competition, about objections, and it's gonna give you like really precise answers. We also come with library of prompts if people don't have ideas, and so it's pretty easy to reuse prompts to surface all the deal through the funnel lifecycle. So this is about our RAG, advanced RAG. And last part here is about uh, integrations. So if you want to have a look at integrations, you can basically go in integrations, and we have a bunch of standard native integrations, but we also have webhook, and that's a way to access everything that I've been showing in the interface. You can access it and use it as part of the webhook, to trigger specific and custom flows. Just to give you one or two examples, I know that at Rose, you hosted a webinar a couple of weeks ago about pre-brief, if I remember correctly, with AI agents. For instance, we do it internally with an A10 at Claap. And whenever there is a meeting, we check if the meeting has already been, if you already had a meeting with this user. And if yes, we retrieve it. And then we create a pre-brief that is sent before the meeting. We also use it to create a presentation, a Google slide presentation that are personalized based on the meeting. And we hosted a webinar. So if your audience is interested, they can check our webinars and we share it. So just to give ideas about integration that can leverage Claap data, but for other use cases.
This is a really cool tool. I'm surprised that I hadn't heard of it too much before, but there's a lot to it and there's a lot you can do with it, which is really awesome to see. The one kind of question I had, I know you touched on sharing as far as like security and sharing the links and stuff. Anything else to note as far as how you all handle like data privacy, I'm assuming you're GDPR compliant and those types of things.
Yeah. So just to jump back on what you said about us being not super visible, this is because we've been focusing a lot on the product until recently to really craft this like comprehensive platform, and we start now to accelerate. We have 600 clients at the moment, so I would say mid-market clients. We also have plans for small teams, individual users, and so on, because we feel that it's great to attract them and grow with them to become this like memory and brain of the company. But that's also why our go-to-market is still in the early days. Regarding privacy, we are in the process of being SOC 2 certified. I think it's going to be completed in a matter of weeks. So it's really like in progress. We already conducted 2 or 3 penetration tests in the past. And so we are GDPR compliant. So this is about certifications. As regards our philosophy, of course, everything is encrypted and we really pay a lot of attention to who access what. Since everything is super sensitive, as I showed in the platform, we are pretty advanced with all the roles, permissions, and so on. We basically mimicked what is done with complex platforms from day one. It was a hard choice because it was investing a lot beforehand, but we really wanted to put privacy at the core of the company.
Awesome. Anything else to share or anything that's coming up for you all that you want to talk about?
I think we had a very good tour. One thing, I guess, to remember, from Clap, is that we try. Our ambition is not only to be a good AI note taker. We are, of course, but we also want to make it like fully available and seamless integration with your existing tools and AI agents. And to this extent, the API, the MCP protocol, and so on are going to be released before end of June. And our ambition is really to be like the context, I would say the customer OS that feeds all AI agents and integrations and tools out there.
Love that. Cool. And then last thing, how can someone try Clap? Is there a trial? Do they go to your website, or what's the best way for someone to get started?
It's on clap.io, so our website, and there is a free trial and even like a freemium, so you can use it for free. And of course, then we have 2 main categories of clients. If you are in sales team, you have advanced integration, workflows, automations. There are stuff I didn't show, but you have uh, like sales email generation, notifications when you need to move on a deal, and so on. So AI triggered notifications. So all this is for sales, so for the business like licenses. And if you are in internal teams, you can get like an in-between license between free and business, which offers you most of the features. As a product manager, this is what I would use. And one thing that is specific with Clap is that if you are in a company with different teams using Clap, you can have some people using like a bigger license and some people using a cheaper license, because we want to make it a good fit for everyone, and we don't force like the same license for everyone.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for doing this. This is awesome to see it. I'm excited to see what comes next for y'all.
Cool. Thanks a lot for the invite, and I will keep reading your really good content. Keep going.